Hello and welcome to another video on my channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at how I make my stencils for all my different kinds of projects. So the first thing that I do is take a look on a search engine and I search for pumpkin stencils because they are easier to use. You'll see why in a minute. Okay, so I pre-printed quite a few images that I liked previously, so this is just an example to show you what I actually do. So search for skull pumpkins stencils. I've found one that I like. It's pretty simple, nice skull. Bring that into a separate page all on its own so I can see what I'm looking at. Go into print and then I'm going to open up more settings. You can see it's already in black and white. Two reasons for that. First of all, I'm a Yorkshire lass and black ink is cheaper. And the second reason is it helps me see exactly what I'm cutting out and what I'm keeping in the stencil. It's far easier than looking at 3 or 4 different shades of orange. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into more settings. We're going to increase the size of the stencil up to fitting a whole A4 sheet of paper, and then we'll go ahead and print that out. You'll see a different picture in a second because I already had quite a few printed out, so rather than wasting ink I went ahead and used one of those instead of printing another one. But this is just to show you what I would do. Now I use the Amazon envelopes, the thin cardboard envelopes that they send things out in. So you go ahead, slice off the sides, cut it in half so you've just got the one sheet, and then just pin your picture to the cardboard. Now I'm going to show you 2 different ways of how I generally tend to trace out my patterns, or stencils in this case. So I'm using a tracing wheel and with quite a lot of pressure just to make sure that it gets through to the card. I'm tracing around all the black print. So what you will be left with underneath the paper once you lift the paper, which I'll show you in a second, is like a perforation in the card. It's just little dents where you've traced around, and that would allow you then to take your pencil and fill in those perforations, really, join the dots dot to dot. So take my wheel, go all the way around the black pattern and just keep doing that until you're done. Can see what I'm talking about with the perforations, and then I just take my pencil and draw around, and these are the bits that I would be cutting out. So there is another way. I use quite a blunt rounded pencil. Don't want any sharp points on your pencil because you don't want it flying off. You need to add downward pressure. There needs to be quite a bit of pressure because you want to score the card underneath. But basically what you're going to do is draw around the ink in the same manner as you would the tracing wheel, but press quite hard so you're leaving markings underneath. Go all the way around. This can be quite heavy on your fingers and your wrists, so if you've got anything like carpal tunnel or repetitive strain injury, you need to stay away from this one because it will cause some trouble for you. But just draw all the way around, and then in a second when I lift that piece of paper or take it off, you'll see that it's left a groove underneath, and then you just fill that groove in with pencil lead. Draw all the way around, same as before, just two different methods for you. So if you don't have a tracing wheel, there is another way that you can do it. And that's what you're left with. Okay. So what we would then do is start cutting out. So you take your craft knife, make sure that it is sharp. New blades are excellent for this. Don't do what I did, which is to use an old blade, but I was awaiting new ones arriving through the post. Lockdown prevented me from getting out to any craft shops for some new ones. And you just cut through, follow carefully. Generally speaking, I would say don't be doing that. Don't poke through with your fingers underneath, because if you slip, that's going to hurt. I would also advise that you pull towards yourself with the craft knife. Some angles can be quite awkward, so there are exceptions, but for the most part you want nice steady control, pulling the knife towards you in straight lines, and just move the card around. Like you'll see me moving the card left and right to accommodate pulling the knife towards me. Try and keep your fingers out of the way, because these hurt, and then just trim off any little bits that are left. Now, as I said before, if you're using a brand new blade, then you shouldn't really be having to go over 2, 3, 4 times, maximum of 2 really. But if you're anything like me and you don't have things in when you decide to have bright ideas and making new videos, you're probably working with blunt tools. Okay, so you pull all the little bits out nice and carefully. We don't want any unintentional jagged edges. We want a nice clean cut to the card, because for whatever reason that you're using this stencil, be it fabric paints or glass paints or even walls, fabrics, anything like that, you want to be able to draw inside. You need a nice clean edge. So just take care and make sure that those edges are nice and clean once you've gone through with the knife and pulled out the little bits. Make sure that you've cleaned off all the little tears, little bits that you may have missed. I'll get the rest of this one done off camera, and in a second you will see the end result. So that's what we're left with. If you like this video, don't forget to do the like, share and subscribe, and thank you for watching. Hope to see you again real soon. Take care now. Bye bye.